drag race with Zawadzki and Mowat.
Stock eliminator cars now, a little slower on the dials, 11.90 and 11.37. The advantage will go to Owen.
That is Bill Owen from Flint, Michigan in his 67 Chevrolet, and Carl Muntean out of Leonard, Michigan in the 70 Dodge. Some good old muscle car action here.
Hey, you got a 446 pack. This thing's pretty strong. C stock automatic up against G. Greater power in the C car.
Owen in the tower lane, Muntean in the spectator lane.
What's the handicap? Owen away first with a 581. Muntean a 610. Owen should have this in the bag, Eric. He reacted a little closer. Here comes that big 446 pack. It's going to be close. Both drivers are under, but Owen is going to get the win with an 1188 on a double breakout run.
Excellent drag race from Bill Owen from Flint, Michigan. By virtue of the mathematics and the breakout, will pick up the win. Look at this finish at the line. Not too much difference here.
Usually the drivers can't tell at that point.
Gallagher, Giles, Zawadzki, and Mowat side by side here for comparison.
Okay, and I am impressed with that Gallagher machine running 880s in super stock in a full-bodied car.
Owen and Muntean with their figures.
You can see there Muntean with that 610 light. He was late. It gave Owen an opportunity with a 581 closer to it to get the win.
Owen and Mowat. Owen gets the 2-second advantage, and Gallagher advancing by virtue of the bye run.
Many of the impact players in professional sport have come to Canada from other shores. As an example, look at the impact on the National Hockey League players from the former Soviet Union have had.
But this athlete and his homeland and his sport sound like an unlikely combination. Superstock driver Wally Clark works in the auto appraisal business in Niagara Falls, Ontario, and he lives in Niagara-on-the-Lake. But what about hometown?
In 1966, Wally came to Canada from Australia when he was only 20 years of age. So we know how he got here. But how would an Aussie ever get involved with drag racing?
Drag racing to me was a progression of what I used to do as a kid. We used to build old billy carts and race them down the old hills around where I grew up in Australia, and then from there it just, you know, the competitive spirit just kept on going. I did some dirt racing in Australia as I was growing up, and then it finally progressed into drag racing when drag racing started to grow out there.
From the time Wally Clark established himself in Canada, he started racing here too, running pure stock brackets at Cayuga, Lancaster, and the old Niagara Drags in Niagara Falls, New York. In 1974, Clark put together his first serious superstock racer.
Superstock as a category presents one of the toughest challenges in drag racing, in that we have to build a car and its engine to a very strict set of guidelines, and it's the challenge of competing against those guidelines to set your performance level is a big part of it, probably the most of it.
By the late 70s, Wally was getting very fast, and he was getting noticed. He won his first national points event at Saint Air in 1979, and he's won at 10 other major shows since then.
Running the NHRA trail can mean a brutal travel schedule, but it is that road time with his wife Susan and 3 daughters, and the fraternizing with the other drag racing families that actually appeals to Clark. Wally Clark states interesting contradiction in drag racing philosophy. Whenever he rolls the car off the trailer, he truly believes that he can win.
Well, coming first in anything is always a difficult chore. Now, I had a great year last year, and this year's just turned around. It's a little tougher. I've lost 7 or 8 races this year by less than 5 or 6 thousandths of a second. And they're the races that I was winning last year, but I'm not out of it yet. I'm starting to move up. I've got a few races left, and I'm going to give it my best shot. It's going to be a battle, but we'll give it whatever we got.
At the same time, Wally told me that he'd rather have his shot at it and even drive poorly than to have to sit in the grandstands and watch everybody else. Wally Clark, one of racing's colorful people, brought to you by Kodak.
Okay, and Wally told us this is pretty tough to do. Let's see what happened to him earlier today in the second round up against Rick Giles. I'll tell you, Wally must have lost his concentration. He got a really bad light. Giles controlled the race. He's out of it.
Let's move now to the semifinal in Superstock. Bill Owen out of Flint, Michigan, and Richard Mowat out of Kitchener.
We mentioned the big handicap, 2.14 seconds. That 454 Camaro is going to have to wait while the 350 Camaro gets his way down the racetrack, Eric.
There are burnouts going here. Owen will be in the tower lane, and Richard Mowat will be in the spectator lane. Tower lane on your left as you're looking at it, spectator lane on the right.
Handicap racing at its best, Eric. The Camaro closest to us, little over 2 seconds advantage. Here comes the Staley entry, and too soon he red-lighted. Richard Mowat is out of this one.
Red light ends this one instantly, and Bill Owen will advance to the Superstock final against Chuck Gallagher.
Owen had no idea of that, of course, and he just ran his own race.
You don't notice that you red light 9 times out of 10, right?
Especially in that case, it was only 28/100ths of a second, and what that means is the front wheel moved 28/100ths of a second before that green light came on.
Interesting numbers here.
Well, Gallagher just legged it through because he's saving parts on that 8-second car.
Comp Eliminator, the most technically sophisticated of the sportsman level cars, has a number of classes. We have dragsters, altereds, gassers, and fast door slammers, like this little F altered powered by a 278 cubic inch small block Chevrolet. But the thing that makes this machine fly is this very exotic air shifted Liberty clutchless 5-speed transmission. No clutch required but to leave the starting line. We pull it into low. At 9,600, we shift second, then third, fourth, and fifth. Screaming through the traps, parachute out, and if all's fine, kick it into neutral. That level of sophistication will bring this machine 0.5 of a second under the NHRA index. This car's nearly there already. He's going to be really tough to beat in eliminations today.
Let's look at the way they match up here. Competition Eliminator, Ross, Ambrose, Browell, and Fretch.
Interesting to note, the Ross entry is the only V8 left in the field. We have a V6, a straight 6, and a 4-banger. Okay, and the V8 coming in with an 8.95, an 8.75 to the 6 of Ambrose. So that will just be a 0.2 advantage to the V8 car.
Good crowd on hand here at London Motorsports Park. Beautiful day. Not as humid as last year, but still pretty warm out here. Ross against Ambrose.
One thing you're going to like about this class, Eric, although there's handicap starts, it's flat out at the finish line. You can go as quick as you want.
Oh, we don't get bogged down in the mathematics then.
No.
Oh, I like this. This is okay. Pat Ross from Avon Lake, Ohio, and Steve Ambrose from Woodhaven, Michigan.
In this case, the V8 is going to get the advantage. The 6 is in a lighter car.
Right.
And now he's going to make the distance, and he's already done it. Ambrose just coasting it through.
Pretty easy run there.
And that takes him into the final round. An 8:37 at 157, and that's from a 6-cylinder engine.
Not bad numbers at all.
The D dragster of Brian Browell, former Londoner, is a V6. The N altered is a little 4-banger, and he's dialed at 10 seconds.
Brian Brawell out of Lafayette, Indiana in the Tower Lane in his 92 McKinney, and John Fretch from Warren, Ohio in his 23 T altered.
We saw Browell set the dragster record here last year, and I believe he lost in the semifinal round. He'd like to avenge that in front of his old hometown fans in London.
I like this comp class. You get a lot of exotic looking cars out here.
Boy, I'll tell you, it's a big money class to run to. Dragster spinning the tires. That might just hurt him. Closing up the gap. Browell's got it handled.
Oh, Brian Brawell with a nice job at Lafayette, Indiana, to take the win in the Tower Lane.
Real strong 782, and that's from a GMC V6.
Ross, Ambrose, Brawell, and Fretch.
So Brian Browell's going to get his shot at the finals this time, but he's got a tough customer in that of Ambrose.
So now we move into the final rounds in all divisions here at London Motorsports Park in the Canada